We're live.
Hello and good afternoon to everyone. Whilst we just wait for a few more people to join us this afternoon, I'll introduce myself. I'm Miss Bromfield, Head of Primary here at NAISAK. And on the online session with me today, we also have Mr. Shields. Mr. Shields, I'll hand over to you.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Yes, my name is Mr. Shields. I am the Deputy Head of Primary and delighted to be here today for our online session in understanding primary assessments.
Great. Thank you so much to everyone who is available to join us this afternoon. We wanted to provide you with some more information around primary assessments, how they take place, why they take place, and what that means for your child. So we'll move straight into our first slide for our session today.
Brilliant. So in today's session, we're going to cover quite a lot, but just to give you an idea of what we're talking about, I'd just like to go through step by step what we're going to be discussing. To begin, we're going to talk about the rationale, the reasoning why we assess kids in NAISAK. Then we're going to go through the different types of assessment that we'd find in school. We're going to have a brief overview of the primary assessments that take place right through from year 1 up to year 6. Then we're going to look at how we monitor, reflect, and action our next steps based on the assessments. We're also going to go over some key dates that will be coming up after the assessments. And we also want to go through how you can support from home during this time of assessments and just supporting from home in general. And to finish our session today, we will have a questions and answer time.
Great, fantastic. So to take you through the rationale of assessments. Assessments are an integral part of your child's educational journey. Assessments will happen throughout your child's time with us here at NAISAK, both in the primary school and in the secondary school and beyond once they move into higher education. To give you a better understanding of the information behind and the reasoning behind assessments, we'll move on to the next slide, there you'll be able to see some of the reasons as to why we think assessments are important within school. Assessments help us to really understand how we can support your child's learning and how we can help to move them on, how we can identify areas of development and areas of strength that your child may show over time. It really helps us to help your child understand or help us understand what your child knows, what your child can do, how they can apply the information that they know and that they understand, and what do they need to know next. Assessments is also a part that is shared, or a process that is shared with your child, and it is important for us here at NAISAK for your child to be a very active part of that process. Once the child has sat an assessment, maybe in the form of an examination or a written piece of work or a reading assessment, we do share the information with the children so that they understand where their strengths are and which areas they may need more support in and how they can improve those areas. Assessments really help our teachers and us as school leaders get to know your child as a learner. and understand not only how your child is performing, but how our school is performing overall. Assessments in the classroom help to support the teacher in making adaptations to learning and lesson plans to improve, to further support your child's experience and their development in school. This helps us to also understand how the children or how your child develops from one year to the next. So assessments in the primary school from years 1 to 6 are a really important part of your child's educational journey. These assessments also help to inform our discussions, and those discussions happen with you sometimes on a daily basis through informal observations and assessments that the class teacher might make throughout the day, but also at more formal periods throughout the year, at times such as parent-teacher meetings or any planned meetings that the teacher may have called you and asked to arrange with you, or you may have arranged with the teacher yourself. This information all forms part of our teachers being able to give you a detailed understanding and an overview of where your child is, their strengths, their weaknesses, and how us as a school can work together in partnership with you to ensure that your child thrives and enjoys the school journey that they are on. Right.
Brilliant. Okay, so this leads us into the different types of assessments we have here at NAISAK. Next slide, please. So we have two different types of assessments at NAISAK. We have formative and summative assessment. And in this slide, I want to talk to you about the differences between both and how we use them to combine them at the end. So with formative assessments, it happens every day. It's what takes place on the day-to-day that your child does in every subject and each lesson with every teacher. How do we assess on a day-to-day basis? We use teacher observations. We use open-ended questions. We do book checks to see what the children are completing. Mini tasks on possibly on whiteboards, on tabletops, quizzes, talk partners. We use lots of different assessment tools to check what is going on a day-to-day basis. This helps us then adapt our teaching methods immediately in the moment to help suit the needs and the challenges of each of our children. It guides teaching and learning to support personalized learning in the moment. With regards to summative assessments are more periodic, and it takes place at key points throughout the term and throughout the year. For us in primary, this happens 3 times a year on a termly basis, and it would involve end of unit assessments, possibly projects, standardized tests such as our White Rose maths, and adaptive tests like our MAP and NGRTs. This helps us to measure what students have learned over time, and it helps us to identify any trends and next steps, possibly with you one-to-one on a personalized journey within a class, within a year group, or across the school. So this helps us to track and report progress over a long period of time and not just on a termly basis. However, combining both of these types of assessments, we get a complete picture of each of our pupils' learning journey, and it feeds into our moderation discussions, our teacher reflections, and pupil progress meetings moving forward. So leading into that, I want to give you an overview of what assessments we do, especially now during term 1. So if we could go to the next slide, please. This slide gives you an idea of what each year group is currently doing during their assessment weeks. Now you can see that it ranges and it differs quite as the years progress, but especially from year 1 to year 6, there are many different types of assessments. I'll just give you a little time to look through that. You can see some notable differences, especially from year 3 up to year 6, when our students start undertaking NGRT testing and MAP testing. For those of you who don't know, we do map testing in maths, reading, language, and science. And this test is an adaptive test that suits to the children's levels and gives us a real valuable indication of where your child is currently at. Map tests have been happening for numerous years here at NAISAK, and we have quite a lot of data that helps support the learning of our students and gives us a great picture of our students' learning journey, especially from year 3. In preparation for all of these assessments, our class teachers have also prepared revision packs to support with preparation for each subject and assessment. Although this is a task at home, students are being supported in class with revision, and students can always ask for help or guidance with any revision or homework in school as well.
Can I just jump in? Sorry, Mr. Shields.
Yes,
in terms of the year 1 and 2 assessments, just in case you're not aware, PM benchmarking is a type of reading assessment. This gives the teachers a real detailed overview of how your child is reading and their ability and their reading age. This helps the teacher to really identify any gaps in your child's reading knowledge. Things such as fluency or their ability to self-correct can all be identified through this reading assessment. It also helps teachers to identify if children understand the text that they are reading and if they are able to read and answer questions under the comprehension section of the assessment. So this is something that we've brought in to really make sure that teachers have a very good understanding of where their children are when it comes to reading. Another support in this area is also our phonics screening assessment. That just makes sure that children are able to identify different phonics sounds and are able to read with and identify green words with a level of accuracy.
And finally, one last thing, each of our year groups also do assessments in Arabic and Islamic and Qatar history first language.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you have any questions about the Arabic assessment, please reach out to our head of Arabic, Miss Asila Dwan. She'd be able to give you much more information about that here as well. Okay, so moving on to monitoring and reflection and looking at what are the next steps. If we move on to the next slide. The monitoring and reflection of assessments is a really important aspect. So once the teachers have completed the assessment, they then need to go back and have a look at what does this data tell us? How do we understand this? And what does this mean for my class? It helps teachers to really be reflective in their practice and also identify areas where they may need to implement different interventions to further support your child to develop the skills that they may need more support in. Things like pupil progress meetings, as you can see on the screen, these happen with the head of year and then with the senior leadership team to really give us a very in-depth overview of children that are meeting our expectations or maybe slightly underachieving or even exceeding our expectations. And it helps us to understand what are those teachers doing in their classrooms to help to support those children or to add further challenge to make sure your children continue to excel. Reports are also a process that is built into the monitoring and reflection section of assessments. This helps the teachers, once the assessment has been completed, they are able then to really write a comprehensive report on where your child is in their learning and what their next steps are. This is a really important part of the child's development, and it also helps to inform you as parents to understand what your child needs and how we can work together to help support them in developing. The assessment also takes place through things that happen on a daily basis, like marking. Teachers are expected to look through books and to acknowledge and mark the children's work throughout a session. And again, this is still another form of assessment that can help the teacher to adapt their learning and adapt their planning to make sure the next lesson really does suit and is tailored to the needs of the children in their class. We'll move on to the next slide, please. Thank you.
Okay, so to tie all of this together and to give you some clarity on what is happening this week and next week, the children are doing assessments in primary. Next week in Arabic, Qatar history and Islamic, the children will also be taking part in their assessments. After the midterm break, that's when our pupil progress meetings will start. And then this will all tie in, as Miss Bromfield has just said, into our term 1 reports. And for parents, these reports will be available from Sunday, the 7th of December. This gives you enough time to download the report, to have a read through it, and then to come into our parent-teacher meetings on Monday the 8th and Tuesday the 9th of December to discuss the reports and discuss progress and next steps for each of your children.
Great. Thank you. So how can you support from home? Parents, again, this is really important that it's the partnership, I can't stress that enough, between home and school. If we move on to the next slide, you'll just see some ideas and pointers that we've put together to help you identify ways in which you can support your child at home. First and foremost, we urge you not to put pressure on your child to perform well, or to point out that next week is assessment week. These kinds of conversations can make children feel slightly more anxious and worried about how they will perform during an assessment week. We try to make the assessment process as relaxed and as calming for children, and also almost as a natural part of their everyday schooling activities. We try to make sure that we create a calm environment, but we really urge you to do the same at home. Maintaining a positive attitude to your child, encouraging them, telling them that they will do well, or if there's an area that you think they might need more support in, then taking the time to really try and focus in on that area with them at home as we come up to the assessment period. Another key aspect to your child doing well and how you can support at home is establishing clear routines, regular routines. And something that I mentioned in our meeting during our parents' open evening at the beginning of this academic year was making sure your child gets enough sleep, particularly during the week of assessments. Children find it challenging to focus if they are tired, and even more so during an assessment. So making sure that they've got enough sleep, that they've got a healthy snack that can help to fuel them throughout the day will really help to set your child up to be successful in their assessment journey. Really importantly, at the end of this process is encouraging them and praising them on how well they've done, and just making sure that they understand that it's important that they've made the effort to attempt to do well at their assessments rather than the grade that they get. If, however, you feel that your child hasn't performed as well as you've expected during the assessment, which is normal, sometimes we find that even though we may be able to predict how well a child may be able to perform on an assessment day, sometimes due to reasons outside of their control, maybe that they're feeling tired, they feel hungry, they may be just not feeling very well that day, or anxiety, can mean that a child doesn't perform as well as we'd hoped. And if for any reason you have any concerns about your child's development or the performance, both on an assessment or outside of an assessment period, please speak to the class teacher or the head of year so that you can discuss your concerns and we can put strategies in place to support both you and your child. Now, we'll move on to the next slide. Thank you. So that brings us to the end of our very first live session with you all today. We're really pleased that many of you could make it, and we hope that if you are unable to make it, you're able to watch this video to get an idea and a comprehensive overview of our assessment process here at NAISAK. Now, if you have any comments, please feel free, or any questions, please feel free to type those into the chat now. I'll give you some time to just do that whilst we wait here in case any questions come up. Mr. Shields and I will be here for the next few minutes in case any questions arise. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for attending.
Thank you.
So thank you so much for attending this afternoon, and we really hope that you found this session useful. We look forward to seeing you in school later on this week. Thank you very much.
Thank you.